talking dreams so big that they'll haunt you, or they'll calm you. That's how you know if you gotta go and get to win and not conquer. I had to go out and get it without a sponsor. Kept it real, never crooked, yeah, that's honor. Now I can go out and get it how I want to. Hashtag bless, I choose.
What is up, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter? Good morning. Today is Tuesday, April 30th, and we are going to be diving into another great interview. And we're going to have Moritz Kaminski. I believe I'm saying that name right. You guys know me. I'm horrible with names. I'm going to bring him on here. We're also going to dive into getlb.com. So if you guys get time, links to all this will be down in the show notes. If you guys want to learn more or hear more about the guests that we have on the show, I always promote their links down in the description so you guys can swing down there and give these people a follow and follow the products and things that they are working on. Moritz, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
How do I properly say your name?
That was totally correct. It's Moritz and Kaminski. Uh-huh.
Perfect, my friend. Well, it's an honor to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we're going to dive into this interview.
Cool. Yeah. I'm Moritz, founder of getlb.com. I have a business background, studied finance, and currently living and working from Switzerland. I've been in Bitcoin already for around 10 years, a little bit more actually. Started with a master thesis about Bitcoin mining, and since then followed the space until I could finally work at a Bitcoin company.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about what was it like the first time you got into Bitcoin? Where is the first time you heard about it?
I was working at a university as a scientific assistant there, and one of the PhD students there told me about digital money and all, like, really the benefits that it seemed that we now have solved something like the double spending problem that wasn't solved before with Bitcoin, and that made me super interesting to learn more about Bitcoin. And the second part, what I find extremely interesting about it, is the fact that it's open money, so everybody can participate. No matter where you are, everybody is able to spin up their own node and participate in the network. Extremely easy.
And what year was that? 14?
Yes, that was 2013, 14, something like this. Yeah, exactly.
And what was the you said you started to follow it. Walk me a little bit through that journey. What was it like? What were you seeing back then? How was that? How did you evolve to end up starting your own company?
So I got interested into Bitcoin when there were only like a few exchanges. I think, for example, in Europe, Bitstamp was one of the first. There was also the time when there was the first transition from FPGA mining to ASIC mining, and we saw some first cloud miners come into existence, for example. And also the ideas of colored coins was quite popular back then. And then after my university, I joined a venture capital firm. I always wanted to get one of the Bitcoin companies into our portfolio, but our partners were not super motivated or interested in that. They always said it's a bit too early. But ultimately, we actually have very big Bitcoin companies today. So I'm not so sure if it was the right decision. But I realized that it is if I stay in the venture capital industry, I will not have the chance to join a Bitcoin company. So I basically quit the job and joined a Bitcoin Lightning focused venture capital firm, which is called Vulgar Ventures, and they invest really only in Bitcoin, especially in Lightning companies. I was doing research for them, writing articles about the state of the industry, about more technical topics like Lightning implementations. And that's how I basically got to know now the company that I'm working for. So I got to know the project called Lightning Browser Extension. That was started by Michael, my co-founder at Albi, with the idea of bringing Bitcoin to the web, right? Because Bitcoin, we always had this promise of digital money, like the magic internet money, but it somehow lacked a bridge to the internet. Well, I can send it peer to peer, but I cannot really use it natively online in applications, in web applications, in mobile applications. So that's why the browser extension was started. And then, yeah, we got a team together. Everything is open source. We joined the Bitcoin design community, for example, renamed it to Albi, founded a company, and now we are 10 people, and we are building awesome stuff for users and developers.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about your partner.
Michael is from Germany. He has been working in the fintech industry, I think, for several years, and has also founded a developer agency before. So really vast experience when it comes to development apps. He also worked, I think, on one of the first digital currency projects in Africa around M-Pesa, and did also some Ethereum projects, but was like Bitcoiner by heart always. And then saw this market niche, or this gap in the market, basically, that we need to better bridge apps and wallets, like make it easier for users to spend and use Bitcoin in apps. And that's why he started the browser extension, basically.
So walk me through what it was like. I guess with this, you say that it's not easy for people to use their Bitcoin. What do you mean by that?
So before the Lightning Network, users basically suffer of problems like high transaction fees when they have to do an on-chain Bitcoin transaction, and these transactions are extremely slow. Well, extremely slow, but still sometimes quicker than a fiat payment. That is true, but not that usable. So it's still at least 10 minutes usually, or even longer if more block confirmations are necessary. And with the Lightning Network, we can now do instant payment on top of Bitcoin. What means, you are transferring actual Bitcoin, but it works over the Lightning Network, which is anchored to Bitcoin, to the Bitcoin network itself. And payments are instant, are global, and you can do micropayments. So you can really do payments down to 1 Satoshi, for example, across the globe. And that was really like a major development that led to the fact that now we can really do implement micropayments in applications, and the use cases there are really are enormous, right? So for example, you can now stream sats to any and publisher. And it doesn't matter where this publisher is, right? You can do it from I can do it, for example, from Switzerland to you in the US, and it works instantly. I can stream you now sats by the minute into your own wallet. I do not rely on any other intermediary, on any other platform, on any other financial service provider. No, it really goes peer-to-peer, basically. And now bringing this to applications has not been possible before, not with fiat and hardly with Bitcoin on-chain payments. And that's why this is basically what we are working on. But we really want to go one step further. So it's not like, okay, yes, you can scan QR codes, exchange payment details, but you always have to switch context, right? If you want to pay someone in Bitcoin, you have to ask for, please send me your Bitcoin address. And so there's always an interactive part in this process. And I think to really make Bitcoin like a global money and extremely usable in applications, we have to remove this part and smooth this basically out and let payments be done really by one click. So an app just basically coordinates in the background, and to do that we are providing these tools. So for example, an app developer can use some tools from Albi like SDKs and so to request invoices and present it to the user, and the user just have to press a button, say, okay, I want to stream 1,000 sats to you per minute, click, and then off we go basically.
That's badass, man. And I think you're right on this. I think you guys are spot on. I'm so interested to learn more. LB, where did the name come from?
It comes actually because we are extremely uncreative when it comes to names. So it started like with a Lightning browser extension, and the abbreviation is LBE. And then we thought, okay, how can we pronounce it differently? And then LB, LB, and then at some point it was ALBY, right? The name today. And only afterwards came the B logo, thanks to Christoph from the Bitcoin design community. So that's how LB was born.
That's too funny, man. I don't even know what to say after that. So walk me through. That's good. Walk me through this website. What are we looking at here? If somebody wanted to come over, kind of give us the rundown. Can you see my screen?
You can see, yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So whenever you want to interact with Bitcoin applications on the web, you can think about Albi, because Albi is your companion when it comes to using Bitcoin. And what I mean is sending and receiving Bitcoin instantly on any application.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to getalbi.com, and what you see is, for example, the browser extension. The browser extension is basically, if you scroll a little bit down, you will see that it's basically your bridge to web applications. And there are a bunch, right? Some people might know already Stacker News, Allen Markets, Bitrefill, for example, to buy gift cards. So that's a great use case of installing the browser extension and to spend your sats. Yes, it's available basically for Chrome and Firefox on the desktop browser, but also now on the Android Firefox browser, so on mobile, and soon also on iOS on the Safari browser.
Beautiful.
That's one part, and if you scroll further down, then you see, I think, something about an Albi account. Because the browser extension is really just your a wallet interface. So you can basically control different wallets. You can connect your own node at home, your own Bitcoin node at home, but you can also connect your Albi account. And the idea why we are providing an Albi account is just it is hard for some people to run their own node, but we want everybody to use to lower the barrier to use Bitcoin, and that's why we are providing an Albi account, and they can connect it to the extension, and as a way to send and receive sats out of this account. And you also get your Lightning address. So mine, for example, is Moritz at getalbi.com, and I can receive sats directly to this Lightning address. Extremely easy, and I do not have to remember any long Bitcoin addresses, for example, or any long like IBAN or ACH numbers, for example. And the cool thing is you can connect this Albi account to a variety of apps. So that's why we call it multi-purpose. So you can connect it to the browser extension, but you can connect it also to podcast apps. You can connect it to Nostr applications. So really there are a lot of apps out there. And the idea is always you do not need another wallet. You can have your Albi account connected to other apps. You do not need to deposit funds first. All spending and receiving works directly always out of the same account. You do not lose like oversight of and control over your money, because it's always in one place, and from this place you spend or receive, basically.
Wow, man. I just went to set it up and it asked me, do you want to connect to your own node? And I have my node over here. And I clicked it and it gave me like 4 different options. So maybe after this show you can kind of walk me through and I can set one of these
Let's
up.
do that. Let's do that.
I would love to make some tutorials for you guys on this and walk people through this. I'm so interested. Is there more you can tell me about it? Like I scroll down, I see a bunch of different stuff down here, like as podcaster on your website,
Yeah,
social
exactly.
media.
So what we learned over the time is that this is extremely useful, not only for like users, but also for like professional users, like content creators, publishers. And there are some examples there. Podcasters, for example, can get an Albi account and add the wallet details to their podcast RSS feed. And this allows other users of podcast apps to stream money to this podcaster by the minute. So this is one use case. Another use case is you can add your Albi Lightning address or any other Lightning address into the HTML code of your website, for example, and the browser extension detects that and allows visitors to send some sats or donate sats basically while visiting their website. So really, everyone who can program a little bit HTML is basically now a Bitcoin developer and is able to enhance their own website and integrate basically a payment plugin as easy as that into their website by just adding one line of HTML to their website. So this is another great use case. So because I think this is really how we show people that Bitcoin is can become the major digital money that we use on the internet, right? And the third part is social media. So for example, you can add your Albi Lightning address to your YouTube channel. You can add it to your Medium blog, to GitHub, to Twitter, and other people who have the browser extension installed can automatically detect that from your profile and send over some sats as well. So these are great use cases.
So if I have that browser extension installed and I go on somebody's Twitter page and they also have it installed, I can give them tips directly to their Lightning wallet and it'll automatically show me that.
So the receiver would not need to have the Albi extension installed. Actually, the receiver only needs a Lightning address in the Twitter bio, which is like a Lightning sign and then moritz@getalbi.com. So it really it works with any Lightning address because that's important for us. That's important for us. This interoperability across different wallets. So
Wow.
yeah, we bring Bitcoin to Twitter.
Man, I keep going, man. You could just keep telling me more about all the stuff that this thing does. I'm so curious now.
Yeah, so this got quite a lot of attention, and also like a lot of people like it. Same also, as I said, works for YouTube. So if you have a video, for example, you can on every video you can just place a Lightning address into the description. Doesn't matter where, just needs to have this Lightning icon in the front, or just in the channel description overall. And someone with the browser extension can then just send over some sats if you want, and does not need to go through the YouTube funding, like thumb up or how is it called,
Super chats.
donation flow. Yeah, all
YouTube
funds go
takes
directly to your wallet.
50% of those super chats. Like if you're live streaming and you're tipping somebody in YouTube, they're taking 50% of that.
So what you could do, for example, you could connect your node now to getalbi.com to your Albi account, and then you have an Albi Lightning address, but Albi does not touch your funds. So all the payments go directly from any person of your audience directly to your own my node, for example. No one gets a share.
No way. That's why they're coming so hard after Bitcoin right now. This is going to
Well,
completely
yeah,
just like, why would anybody use the old legacy system?
yeah, that is true. I mean, still network effects are in place for other systems, unfortunately. But it creates quite some disintermediation, which is, I think, ultimately beneficial for the participants, right? And if people would play it smartly, then they would also benefit. But yeah, they have different incentives at this point, I think. Mhm.
Man, when I was talking to you before about how I'm going to be filming a Bitcoin documentary next, man, I would love to come out and sit down with your team in person and go over some of this and like really dive in and show people even just how to set up accounts, like how the whole operation works, everything that you can do with these products. This is the revolutionary change that it's almost like you guys are giving a gift to humanity, right? Like the separation of money and state has to happen, and it only happens when you're basically when you have full control over your information, over your money, over your I guess your decisions in life. It's freedom of money. It's freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Those values are so key to society and humanity.
Yeah,
And
exactly. So I think
you guys aren't taking anything.
we are. We also have to survive,
Yeah, that's
basically.
what I was saying. Like, what are you guys taking?
If you do not connect your own node to your Albi account, you can also use our own managed wallet currently.
Ah,
And
got you. Sweet.
then you do not have to take care of liquidity management, no channel management. It's just really one click and you're registered. You can deposit some Bitcoin and off you go. But then we take a little fee out of every outgoing payment, but only payments above 100 sats, because the idea is we do not want to suppress this use case of
Hmm.
micropayments. So there are a lot of people streaming money um, to creators, and they should continue to do that. That's um, we do not charge anything on that. Only for payments above 100 sats, we earn a little transaction fee for outgoing payments.
Good for you. Yeah, and that's a lot of work. People like what you're talking about managing channels. It's not easy. So I think that little fee that you
Yeah.
guys charge is very reasonable. You have to charge it, right? It's a lot of work to manage those channels. What is it like managing a channel? Can you explain what that means to people? Because I don't think I fully understand it.
Lightning channel. So a Lightning channel is basically your connection to the Lightning network from your own Lightning node. And within this channel, you can send funds back and forth, but not only to your next channel partner, but because it's a network, to all other nodes that are connected to this network. And of course, the more channels you have, the better is your connectivity, but actually already one channel is enough. The tricky part here is you can only send so much money out as the balance is of this channel, obviously. So if you want to increase the balance, then you have to today you still have to open a second channel. Um, and soon you can just top up the same channel, which is quite nice innovation in the Lightning space. And also important to say is that you cannot like randomly receive any amount, which is usually important for merchants or content creators, because they mainly receive payments, right, from their audience, from their customers. You can only receive as much as inbound liquidity you have on this Lightning channel. And you can imagine that, let's say, a channel is like 1 Bitcoin, and you have um, uh, um, now 0.5 Bitcoin on your side and 0.5 Bitcoin on the other side of the channel, then you can receive the 0.5 Bitcoin. But if you now spend, let's say, 0.3 Bitcoin, then you suddenly can receive 0.8 Bitcoin, because the 0.3 go to the other side of the channel. And this increases your receiving capability as a node runner, basically. So that's it in a nutshell. It's really like you can send the sats in this channel back and forth, and the cool thing is, you only have to do one on-chain Bitcoin transaction. So you have to pay on-chain fees only once, which is around $5 to $15, and then you only transact on the Lightning network, and there the fees are really minimal. So we are talking about between 1 to 100 sats, which is nothing compared to on-chain fees.
Yeah, for people that don't understand that, there's what 1,500 satoshis in $1 right now, something like that. So 100 sats
Yeah.
would only be what, like 7 cents or 10 cents or something like that. A lot, not many.
Yeah, yeah.
1 sat's not even a penny. So to put that in perspective, it's pretty cheap. When you say, is there any chance that I've heard stories about people losing Bitcoin on the Lightning Network? How could somebody lose? And I thought they said opening a channel, they did something wrong. Somehow they messed something up. Is there any merit to that?
Yeah, it could. So when you open a channel, you will not lose your funds. That will not happen because it might be credited back if the transaction never confirms from Bitcoin miners, or then or will never be picked up out of the mempool because the fees are too low. Then it will drop out of the mempool and will be again in your wallet. What might be a little bit tricky is, for example, if your node basically is offline, and you cannot restart it anymore. You might have the seed phrase of your wallet, so you can always recover your on-chain funds, but you cannot. But in order to recover your Lightning channels, because there you also have some funds stored, right, to be able to send and receive over the Lightning network, you need a static channel backup, or like a database, a copy of the database. And if you do not have that, then it's quite tricky to recover these funds. So ultimately, if you are aware of backups, channel backups, for example, then it's actually quite safe to use the Lightning network.
Okay, that's above my pay grade, but I'm sure I'm going to learn it eventually. I guess I need to.
Well,
make
I
sure
mean,
I got backups.
yeah. So yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, like, systems get always easier to use, and will give you like good guidance in backing up your node. Yeah, no, like for the start, why not using a wallet like Strike, Albi, and such, and then gradually, as you get more and more familiar with how these things work, you can move to your own node, even, for example.
Yeah, I just went right in with my own node, and like it's been so hard. I have it running, it's plugged in, but I have no clue really how to use it or what I'm doing with it. I just thought it would be like I don't know, this was like a year and a half ago. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to run my own node. I'm going to like make some free stats, just like running a channel and opening a network, and I got this thing." And then it was so complicated. I'm like, "Fuck, I'm not
Yeah.
I don't know
That
what
is
I'm
true.
doing
That
here."
is true. Yeah, there was a wave of, yes, run your own node and earn some routing fees for
Yeah.
free. But yeah, people learned that there is nothing like a free lunch. So if you want to be a successful routing node, right, you also have to work for that.
Yep.
Only maybe in the very, very early days you got like some free routing, but you can actually earn a living out of routing, but then you need to sit down and work for it, and really understand the details there. No.
Do you make money routing? Could you run a successful routing business if you wanted to put all your energy into it?
I don't know if I can make a successful business out of it. We make a little bit money on that, but we are not optimizing for that. We are actually optimizing for low fees. So we want to allow our users to transfer as like at low cost as possible. Because I mean, that's why ultimately they come to us. That's why they choose Albi, because yeah, we enable like these frictionless payments, and that needs to work. So we are not optimizing on that right now.
What do you see as some of the biggest obstacles over the next year for Bitcoin and for LB?
Um, I would definitely like to see, yeah, a bit more clarity on the regulatory side. So it seems to be that jurisdictions like the US are not very welcoming when it comes to Bitcoin, or like this new type of digital currencies, like virtual currency, also how they call it. They are getting like stricter and stricter when it comes to being regulated as a money service business, and this inhibits, in my opinion, quite a lot innovation in this space, and especially for young companies who do not yet have a lot of like a huge stack of money on the bank account and can afford lawyers who look into licenses.
Mhm.
It's quite hard, and it's only I think it's only getting harder. Um, so that's a bit of a pity, and yeah, what I also would like to see a bit more is um, yeah, that some like Lightning implementations itself move a little bit quicker, and have more interoperability there.
Mhm.
So that would be good as well, I think. And but what we definitely see is quite some more activity when it comes to building apps on top of Bitcoin and Lightning. So Nostr is one example. It's a space that's really exploded throughout last year, and there are a bunch of apps that you can now use and use your sats, earn some sats. It's really nice development there.
So walk me through what is Noster for anybody. I've tried to describe it to my audience before. How do you describe Noster?
Um, I would say Nostr is basically a communication protocol where you sign messages with your own private key, and then you send them to a relay, and this relay um, basically, yeah, forwards these messages to every other client application that listens to this relay. And the cool thing about is that you own your own identity with Nostr because you own
Mhm.
your own private key. Um, and these relays, you don't need to be a big company to run a relay. You need certainly some developer capabilities, but you can run a relay for your friends, for example, and make sure that they can communicate with each other. So this also lowers the barriers for people and decentralizes the protocol overall. And what we've now seen is one major use case being built on top of Nostr, which are these social media apps or Twitter-like apps, basically. But I would really say that's just one use case what you can do with Nostr, but it's a great one.
So So you're running your own node. Well, let me ask you. So I bought when I first heard about like you can set up your own Nostr account. You can run basically like your own Twitter profile, but you own it, right? Like you're running it on your own device, and nobody can take that from you. Once your device is, as long as your node is online, anybody can access your Twitter profile. But in the process of waiting for my node to arrive, somehow I have a Nostr account. So where's my Nostr account running at now?
Yeah. So you don't need to run your own node in order to have a Nostr account. All you need is really just a Nostr private key, so-called NSEC,
Mhm.
and then um, you can create one if you, for example, use a Nostr app that allows you to create one. You can also use the Albi browser extension to create your Nostr private key and store it there, and then you can access these applications. And what you do there is basically you add content, sign it with your private key, and by doing that, people know that this information belongs to you. Um, and yeah, and that's it basically. And you can already keep using the private key that you have to access the same account. You can do that on any other Nostr applications, which is actually the beauty, right? You can now take your identity, get it create it on Primal, for example, bring it to Snort, and then change it on coracle.social, for example. And you can always access the same information, and you are not you're not locked into any other like client in particular. It's super interoperable. And tools like the Albi browser extension help you to safeguard your keys basically separately, separated from apps, because sometimes apps also can be hacked, and if they hack your Noster key, they can do anything with your key, with your information basically out there.
So how walk me through that protecting your key part, because I want to make sure that I fully understand what you're saying
So
here.
yeah. So what you would need to do regarding Albi is you can install the Albi browser extension, connect an account, and then within that account, in the extension, there is a own section which is called Noster settings. And with Noster settings, you can just insert your private key if you already have one, or it creates one for you. And then if you go to a Noster application, like primal.net, for example, Albi pops up and asks you, okay, do you want to log in with Albi? Do you want to sign or grant permission? And then you can say, you can confirm or deny. And by doing that, then you basically log into this application. You tell this app, okay, I have the right key to access this information, and then you can change this information. You can post there, and every action from you can be tied back to you personally, because every action needs to be signed with your private key. But you basically do not really see that anymore, because that all works in the background. But that's the general basis, and that's what it allows you to run the same actions in any other application, right? And not only you're not only tied to Twitter, for example, but you can also tweet basically from other Noster applications, and people using other Noster applications can see it, that it comes from you.
That's so freaking cool, man. And so I
And
say
yeah,
this.
nobody can ban you, right? Nobody can ban you because you own your own key. Everything I can do is basically just not follow you, or just not listen to the relay where you are publishing your notes to, which is also done actually automatically by most of the apps out there. So that's quite censorship resistant.
These apps are so needed. Like we're so close to a time where every single American just says fuck you to YouTube, fuck you to Twitter, fuck you to all of them. I'm taking my data and I'm gonna go fucking put it on a platform where guaranteed I cannot get fucking deplatformed. I've lost, I was telling you before we started, 3 YouTubes demonetized, right? $10,000 a month gone. For what? For sharing truthful information because they didn't like it, or it was considered violent and dangerous because there's some foreign national that sits on the board of directors at YouTube, and that dude picks the manager, and then the manager writes the policies, and the policies state that if you say anything about the 2020 election, we're going to strike your account, or we're going to take away your ability to be monetized, right? Twitter, somebody hacked into my account, took over my account, gone. Still haven't got that one back. Instagram, because I exposed the Moon Boys who were promoting all the scam cryptos out there, and I was showing their wallets and how their wallets were selling at the same time that they were putting out videos telling their subscribers to buy. That cost me an Instagram account, right? TikTok, don't even get me started on TikTok. We've lost like 6. Me and my ex lost one that we took to 100,000 in less than a week, and we lost that one. The censorship industrial complex is so full tyrant right now that I think it's going to be like they'll do anything to prevent this from going mainstream, but I don't think they can stop it, right? This is kind of like almost like the Silk Road in a way, where you're running it's almost like torrents, right? Where there's no way for them to destroy this, or is there?
Well, they would need to take down each and every relay, basically, that distributes your messages. which is actually quite hard ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't know where these relays are, or maybe they know, but you can just simply spin up a new relay anywhere in the world and keep relaying information.
So once I get my node, then I become a relay. Is that what I'm doing?
Actually, when you do that, then you're already quite an advanced user. You would not need to do that, right? All you need is a Nostr private key in order to participate there, make posts, receive messages, and such. But there are now node providers that allow you to install a relay there. So you would basically have your own relay and could publish to this relay, and then you can you can give it to others. They can just listen to your relay, for example, and then it's quite like completely independent from any other service provider.
So I'm getting ready to release a documentary called Treason, right? Like the information the people that are going to be, the information that we're going to expose, there's some very powerful people that don't want this information to ever see the light of day. So if I publish it on YouTube, it would get taken down. Rumble, it'll probably be all right on. But with my website, I've had websites taken down before. Like during COVID, I was selling PPE products, right? So Wix basically deplatformed me from having a website on their platform. Well, what do you think would be the best way to stand up a website right now to distribute this documentary?
Yeah, I mean, usually the web is the best place to distribute information because you can run your own server. If you use a service provider like Wix, then maybe it's a bit tricky. I don't know, like which service provider is
Best?
would allow to do that. Would you allow to do that? I mean, ultimately, you can always run like bare metal
Mm-hmm.
servers, which is also not very easy. Don't know. I need to check that. What is
Okay.
the best way to do that? Mm.
What do you see with you guys are over in Switzerland, and regulations are good over there?
So I'm personally in Switzerland. The team is distributed. So Germany, Austria, India, Thailand, Argentina. So it's really like global. Albi is actually incorporated in the US. But yeah, ultimately it comes down to where you offer your services. You need to be regulated. So sometimes it helps where you are incorporated, but mainly it comes down to where you offer your services.
And what do you
Mm.
think with what's going on with Samurai and all these other, like obviously government overreach, nobody's laundering money. Fuck you. If anybody's laundering money, it's the US government, right? Like these people will, the CIA will infiltrate, these organizations, and they'll have their paid terrorist use your network purposely so that they can trace a transaction back to a terrorist and basically frame your company. We know that's that's in their playbook. We can prove that. But yet here we are where they're claiming that Abby's money laundering and CZ from Binance is money laundering. It's like, no, fuck you guys, man. No, Jeffrey Epstein's client list, there still has been nobody fucking arrested. Nobody's been charged with laundering money for Jeffrey Epstein, but yet some random crypto wallets laundering money. Like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, yeah. I think the problem with Samurai is certainly that they made quite some, that they also advertised or promoted this use case, and they explicitly said, okay, that they are providing the services for some gray market applications or use cases, which might be
Yeah.
not the smartest way to do. Ultimately, not, at least not public, right? There is still always maybe a chance to say, okay, as long as we don't really know it, we cannot do it or do it, not anything against it. Only if someone tells us, then we can act against it. So there might be some way to argue there, but yeah, that's not what they did. It seems like, yeah, ultimately. Mm. What I'm a little bit more worried about these days is the fact how far the US defines things like money transfer, money transmission. What then I like it used to be okay, yeah, you need to have control over your funds, but now it also seems that um if you are somewhat included in the transfer process, even as a software provider, you potentially could become money transmitter. And I think, yeah, this is completely out of scope here. And yeah, we also need to see how we can react to that and defend our rights.
If it was me, every Bitcoin company around the world should hire a private investigator, a documentary filmmaker, and dedicate millions of dollars worth of resources to people that are going to make a documentary on Gary Gensler. Every single fucking employee at the SEC is fucking rotten to the core. And I could in 6 months of putting together a documentary, I could burn the entire department down to the fucking ground, to the core, and salt and piss on the fucking ashes. These guys are fucking terrorists. I'm going to get myself kicked off YouTube. Don't take anything I said seriously.